Hey everybody, welcome back to our Arizona Acre, and like I promised, I'm here with my friend Lisa. I came to pick up this plant that I was telling you all about, and let me just get a picture of a really nice one here.
That kind of sucks.
Okay, Lisa, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
And can you tell us what this tree is called?
This is the moringa tree, Moringa. It's also called the drumstick tree, and it's also called the tree of life.
Okay, and until I met you, I had never heard about this tree. So if you could tell everybody the benefits, all the good stuff that you told me when I first sat in your backyard.
Okay, so this tree, which I actually found when I joined a gardener's club, and somebody's like, "Oh, you need to grow the moringa tree," and I'm like, "I don't know what a moringa tree is, but hey, give it to me, I'll do it," you know. So, and then I started researching it, and it's actually an amazing tree. So this is a start that's about maybe 4 weeks old from seed. The leaves are edible. The entire tree is edible. The trunk is edible, the limbs are edible, everything except for the taproot, which is edible only if you know how to prepare it properly, and I do not, and I don't suggest
And
it.
for those of us who are totally idiots when it comes to gardening, what's a taproot?
A taproot, so if you have root systems that spread, then that is a different type of root. So a lot of trees have root systems that spread. A taproot goes straight down,
Oh, like a palm
which
tree.
is why this tree does so well in the Arizona heat, because that taproot will go as low as it needs to go to find the water. So it does great in our weather. It wants full Arizona sun. It wants to be left alone. It doesn't want to be bothered with shit. It doesn't
That's okay.
with
That's
stuff.
all right.
It doesn't be bothered with stuff. It doesn't care so much about fertilizers or anything. Here and there, if you're going to put a general fertilizer around, it'll take some, but it doesn't need it. It kind of self-fertilizes, which is interesting. But you water it when once you get it going. You water it when it starts to turn yellow. I mean, if you overwater, like you water it every day, a tiny little bit every day, the roots will spread out a little bit because it doesn't need that taproot. So you want to really let it dry out, let the taproot go, and let it go down and try to find its water source, because that's how you're going to get the stronger tree. So the taproot is not edible. The rest of it is. I have not actually chewed on a limb. But the goats love it, the horses love it, the cows love it, the sheep love it, the chickens love it. Every part of it is edible. The leaves, of course, are probably the most common. They're peppery. I mean, I don't know. Have you tried one?
I tried one.
They don't have.
I like it in the tea though. Like you told me about putting it in the
Right.
tea. Let me try it again.
So, to me, they don't really have much of a flavor. Sometimes you'll get some that are more peppery.
They
sometimes
taste
you'll
like
get-
grass.
Yeah, they taste a little like grass. They're
Or-
great in salads.
They would be good in a salad.
They're great in salads. They're great to throw into spaghetti sauces or scrambled
Oh,
eggs
yeah.
or chili or anything else that, to give it. Because the one other thing that's interesting about the moringa is they actually have more nutrition when they're cooked.
Really?
Which is very different from most herbs
Yeah,
that you think of.
it's
They're
usually the
better
opposite.
when they're
Right.
raw. These have more nutrition when they're cooked. They have more vitamin C than an orange or a strawberry. They have more calcium than milk. They have iron, they have vitamin K, they have potassium, they have protein. They balance out your blood sugar, so diabetes, it helps with diabetes. They are great for great in anti-inflammatory properties in them. It literally is a tree that you can survive on. It's strange.
Right. Speaking of survival, tell everybody about the water that you told me about.
When this tree grows, when it grows and it gets big, and it will get big. I mean, I think my other tree was our big 2-story house. Our one tree literally was about as big as our 2-story house. So the thing about these, you can leave them in a pot and you can prune them all the time, and they'll stay small, but they won't flower and they won't pod. But if you let them go, like we have 5 we're gonna plant along this fence, and it'll create enough shade for the whole backyard and enough food for the horse and everything else. But they get pods, and when the pods start to grow, they're little tiny skinny little pods. And you can eat them that way. You can cook them like green beans, like in the Philippines and different places, they kind of cook them like a green bean. I personally hate the pods. I think they're gross. I won't eat them. I eat the flowers and I eat the leaves, but I don't
Chickens
like
love
the
'em.
pods. Chickens love it. And
Yeah.
you know what? When you feed this to your chickens, their eggs are like rock hard because of all the calcium. So this is inside the pods. Now, when the pods go,
Okay, I'm just gonna
The pods will get to be about 2.5 feet long and about 1.5 inches around, and they're filled, and they're super heavy, but they'll dry out right on the tree, and this is what the seeds look like. And then this is what you would plant. So, but inside here,
I want to shade you.
oh, there. So inside here, if you break this open, yeah, this one's kind of old. So if you break this open, inside here is a smaller, there we go, didn't want to come off, is a smaller little white seed. So each pod has about 15 seeds in it. This tiny little white thing right here that looks like nothing, if you take a pod's worth, so 10 to 15 of these, and you crunch them up with a hammer, and you go outside and you grab a mud puddle full of dirt or full of water in a jar, and you cheesecloth it, strain it out to get the solids out, and you take a pod's worth of these, and you store it for 5 full minutes, like really briskly, and you set it back on your counter for 24 hours open. In 24 hours, your water is 97 and 99% purified. So
Sweet.
it literally purifies water.
So it basically does the same thing to your body, I've heard.
Yes.
That's why when you first start eating them, you have to eat a little.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will have the
Yeah,
surprise of spending the day in the restroom.
yes.
Because it doesn't it detox your body, basically?
It detoxes your liver, it detoxes your kidneys. It literally is the most amazing tree, and I learn more about it every time I go and research something about it, or somebody asks me and I'll pull up a different article, because I never do the same thing, and I learn something new about it all the time. So it's one of those trees. It's one of those trees that I think everybody, if you have property, or even if you don't have property and all you can do is a pot and the leaves, I just really think everybody.
It is
should
really
have
good
one
in
of
iced
these.
tea. I like it in tea.
Yeah, now we'll take the leaves, because now our big tree at our other house, you can go up and rip off like 15-foot branches off of it, and you don't even need a saw. You literally just go up and rip them off. I mean, it just comes right off the tree. And process the leaves, and we have a sun dehydrator, so we just dehydrate it in the mesh things in the sun. But and then you throw it in your iced tea, and I brew it with iced tea. I make flavored iced tea, but not sweetened, and I just put the moringa in, and it's perfect. It's a great way to get your daily dose of moringa. And then in about 3 days, you'll see things growing right back out of that spot where you just ripped it off. It's literally, once you have this tree started, you cannot kill it.
What about winter? What do you do in the winter? You have to cut it down? Cut it back?
In Arizona, in Phoenix, you're fine, because we don't, in 6 years that I had my last tree, it froze last year for the first time ever, and it was the last freeze that got it. So Russell, my husband, went and cut down all the limbs and stuff, and he threw them to the side, and as soon as it warmed up, it just started growing again, and it was just brand new. If you live in a colder climate and you get freezes, you're just going to want to cut it down at ground level, cover it up with dirt, keep it, as protected as you can, and next spring it's going to pop right back up out of the ground. It's seriously amazing.
Sweet. Okay, so we came out here because she just actually planted some.
Yes.
If I could find it. Okay, so to give you kind of an idea, I'm going to guess there's about, 5 feet between this plant and this fence.
Yeah, and we could have gone closer.
And the
We
reason
didn't want
for
to go
that
too
is
close.
not just for, aesthetics. What would the reason be? That's how large it's gonna get.
They get really large. They get big fat trunks. I mean, it takes this will be a full-size tree before Christmas. I mean, it'll be a small tree, but it'll be a tree before Christmas. But next year, it will have a real actual trunk to it. And part of our reasoning for keeping it this far away from the fence is we have snakes, as you know.
Right.
So
snakes.
we have snakes. So I don't want anything that's going to might potentially use that as a hiding spot that then I can't see, because here's my fence. So I wanted enough distance to be able to see what's going on under the tree. Also, it gets a huge canopy. But when the pods really start coming in, and you're talking 1,000 pods on this tree. I'm not talking 10 or 20. I'm talking 1,000 at a time. They will weigh it down, and so I didn't want it to be too close to the fence. I wanted it a little further out. But our thing, we're going to plant 5 along this fence, and by the time they grow out, They will provide complete shade for the backyard. They'll provide a hedge from the neighbors being able to see into the property, and it will be enough for the horses, for the chickens, for us.
Right, so reminder, if you are out in the desert like we are, the rabbits will love this.
Yes.
The more rabbits you have, the more predators will come. So, yeah, just warning you guys about that one.
Yes, no, and that actually too is another thing. So the reason this is here is not just because I haven't seen rabbit. Well, Russell saw a jackrabbit out there. I have not yet seen a rabbit, but we have prairie dogs. So this was just to kind of prairie dog proof it, but plus also at this point where they are, if you disturb this at all, if it breaks, if it anything, it's gone. At this age, it's gone. You cannot save it. It's not coming back. So, you know, that protects anybody. Like I had a cat's tail one time knock over a little trunk, a cat's tail. It never came back. It was done. So that just kind of protects.
So then about how big does it need to be? Sorry if there's wind noise, but it's windy out here. How big does it need to be for it not to be destroyed by a cat's tail?
As soon as it starts to, like this one actually, like I can't believe how fast these are growing. They kind of slowed down growth when we transplanted them because these were all in this pot. So these are getting pretty close. So like this has a root system coming in on it, and the bottom of it's kind of woody. So as soon as it just gets a little woody, then it's fine. It just has to get that kind of you know, a little secure in there. And this one will be actually should be fine pretty soon. That one I don't know if it's going to survive the transplant. Planting from seeds is actually like literally if I do this and if I put water on that spot every day, I would have a tree. They grow that easily. I did them in pots to start them because I didn't know what I was going to do with them, and plus I didn't know what ground I was working with. But they do not, if you start from seed or you start from a transplant, if you use like the fancy little cutesy like starting soil, seed soil like I'm using for the jasmine, you'll kill it. It will not live. It does not want that crap. It wants literal crap. It wants manure or compost and native dirt layered in layers. And that's really all it wants, and full sun and you know, regular watering until it takes, and then it will just take off. And it doesn't want anything. It's like the tree that just continually gives back and asks for nothing in return. You can keep it in a pot and keep it pruned, or you can put it in the ground and it'll go to 50-60 feet tall.
Well, thanks for telling everybody about this awesome tree. And if anybody has any other benefits or recipes or ways you can use this tree, hey, let us know in the comments. If you found any of this information useful or helpful, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified next time we post another one. Till next time.